All right, you guys, for those of you who do not follow me on Instagram, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, I recently got into a little bit of a car accident where I got rear-ended and my back has been feeling not so nice. And I wanted to share with you a mobility flow that has been really helping me open up my upper back. And it also happens to be great for shoulder mobility as well. A lot of the muscles that move your shoulders are housed in your upper back. And that's why working on your shoulder mobility can really help with some upper back pain, even neck pain that you might be experiencing. What you'll need for this workout is a foam roller, but don't worry, don't turn off that video, don't go away. We are not going to be foam rolling. We're just gonna be using it to kind of prop us up from the floor for some of these shoulder mobility exercises. And it also offers really great feedback to know that you're engaging your core and you're not actually extending your back, so bending from your back to move your arms. So really great feedback tool. Hopefully that convinced you to stick around. I also paired two foam rollers right next to each other because this one, if you've seen some of my older videos, it is the foam roller that I prefer to foam roll with. But you'll also notice that this one standing right next to it is a couple inches longer than it, which you will want to lay down on it. So you want to make sure the foam roller you're using is enough to have your tailbone to the base of your skull on it for the first few exercises. By now, hopefully you've grabbed that foam roller from wherever you've stashed it, your closet or wherever it is, because you're like, I'm never seeing that guy again. Go ahead and grab it and let's place it on the floor. So in order to get into this foam roller position, I want you to situate yourself so that you're right at the base of the foam roller. I like to use my hands to gently guide my way, control myself down. And then, like I mentioned, you are going to want to have your head be supported by the foam roller here. My feet, I wouldn't say that they're like super close to the foam roller. I actually have them probably a little bit further away from my bottom than I would in a bridge. And then you're going to be engaging your core. So I've talked about before how we want to think about a vest and those zipper on the vest, those teeth of the zipper coming together to get rid of any gaps or holes that you might have underneath your spine. If it doesn't touch completely, that's okay. You might just have a tighter back, or maybe you have a little bit more curvature to your back, but you just want to be feeling that connection in the front of your belly before we start any of these arm movements. From here, and take both of your arms upwards towards the sky, towards the ceiling. I have my palms facing inwards, and I'm gently gonna let them come downwards towards the ground. Notice how I didn't say fall, because fall kind of like subconsciously means that we're not controlling it. So we do wanna control it downwards. And then I want you to use that exhale to bring it right back upwards towards the sky. So we're stretching our pec muscles. Those guys tend to get tight if we sit and work at a desk all day. We're typing on a computer, typing on our phone, watching our TV. We tend to roll our shoulders forward. So I like to start out with this pec stretch here. Belly button into your back as the arms come down to the ground. And I'm only going to do this for about 10. Not really holding it too much at the bottom quite yet. I'm allowing my scapula to start to mobilize, to get moving in an open position here. So I feel it get tighter towards the foam roller as my hands open. I feel it loosen from the foam roller as my hands hug higher towards the sky. And every time my hands get downwards towards the ground, it opens up my chest, my pec. I'm also trying to keep my palms oriented the same way every time it falls downwards towards the ground. So as it comes downwards, I'm not like tilting my thumbs to the ground or my pinkies to the ground. I really could have like someone high five my palm at that open T position. I have about 8. I'm going to do 2 more here. I also like doing this on the foam roller because if you have one arm that moves faster than the other, you'll feel a little bit of shakiness in that roller. Try to keep that roller steady. All right, the next one that we're gonna move into, now you can keep your palms open. I do like to kind of close my thumbs like I'm holding a soda can, but my thumb is out. And what I want you to do is I want you to reach both arms up and over your head now as your belly tries to hug tight to your foam roller. And then lift those arms upwards. And again, belly button in. So here on the foam roller, I know I said that we weren't going to be rolling out your back, but one of the reasons why it's felt so good to me as I've been recovering from this car accident is because as I'm moving my shoulder blades, as I'm moving my arms in space, it is gently kind of foam rolling out the tissue that run along my scapula, along my spine. So that's one of the reasons why it does feel so good. And if you're like, she said we weren't foam rolling, and I kind of feel like it is rolling me out, that's why. Every time I reach away from my center, I like to take an inhale. It helps me add a little bit of pressure into the roller. I try to breathe into my back. And every time I lift those arms up, I also try to take an exhale. It helps me engage my core to lift my arms upwards towards the sky. This one, once again, we're doing for 10. I think I'm at about 9 here. My legs are also active. They're not sleepy here. There's a little bit of pressure into my heels. And it's almost like I'm trying to drag my heels in towards my bottom without actually really moving them. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, just drop a question down in the comments below and I can explain it a little bit further in a different video. Next, we're gonna go back into that pec stretch position. So palms open up, palms face one another, and let them gently come downwards towards the ground. Here, we're gonna try to let them stay open. So hopefully your chest is a little bit more warmed up by now. You have more blood flow. And we're gonna go into what's called snow angel. We're gonna try to take those arms up overhead, going around the snow angel wings. And then you're gonna take those pinkies downwards towards your hip bones. So literally, like if you were up in the snow, up in the mountains, you're taking those arms along the snow, nice and slow and controlled. So it's not about how many we're trying to get done. It's really about moving that scapula in that gliding position to tilt the arms upwards. The scapula tilts to bring the arms upwards. And then you can feel them try to come together. Squeeze the foam roller as the pinkies come back towards the hips. This one for me has been a little bit more challenging. I definitely need to spend some more time with this motion here. I have the tendency to just do the first 2 exercises in this series. And today I got reminded of this one when I went to my physical therapy appointment. I was like, oh yeah, I used to do that one way back in the day, and this one would be good for me. We're gonna do one more here. And then the last one we're gonna do is called toy soldier. So we're gonna take those hands back up to the sky, use your core to bring those hands towards the ceiling. And palms facing palms, I'm gonna have you take one hand upwards overhead like we did moments ago, and then the other hand is gonna come down. They're gonna pass through the center, so back up to the ceiling. And then one hand goes backwards as the other hand comes down to your hips. So I am alternating. And once again, I'm trying to use that foam roll as feedback to try to keep it still. Now this time my arms are moving in opposite directions here. So it's more about my core engaging in that sling connection, that diagonal connection, to try to stabilize the energy that is moving in those opposing directions. My core is still engaged. I have that zipper, as well as kind of like a diagonal pull from rib to opposite hip. It's another image that I like to think of. I'm gonna go one more up with my left hand, one more up and over with my right hand. I think I only did about 8 total, so 4 pairs. I usually do a little bit more. If you want to pause the video, take some time to do some more on your own, but to respect your guys' time and to show you everything I want to show you, I'm going to go ahead and roll on off and continue moving through this flow. So I roll off to the side, push myself up. So now here, this is a great moment to grab a towel or a small pillow so that you can rest your ear on it, as we're going to rest on our side body. And once again, I'm going to show you. And then once again, I'm going to show you only one side, and then you can pause the video, repeat the segment that we're going to do so that you can do them on both sides here. You're going to still be using the foam roller. You're going to have your pillow so that you can rest your ear on top of it. And we're going to do 2 exercises here. So your top leg will just rest on the foam roller. This is going to help you keep your hip bones level. And if the foam roller rolls forward and back, it's also going to let you know what your hips, what your lumbar spine is doing. I do want to try once again to keep that foam roller as still as possible. So take one hand right over the other, lift it up and over behind you, and look at it as it reaches behind you. So if that foam roller moves, it lets you know that your hip bone is rocking backwards to rotate instead of actually from that mid back. And then from here, we're going to close the hand right back where it started. So one of the things I like to think of as I'm opening the arm is pressing my top leg into the foam roller. That helps me keep my hips stacked one over the other, and also helps to engage my core to make sure that I'm rotating from my spine instead of rotating from my hips. As I rotate to the back, I also like to exhale, which naturally relaxes the muscles in your back to allow you to rotate. With all of these exercises, you want to stay within a pain-free range. You should feel a stretch, but you shouldn't feel any zinging or zapping or any kind of sharp sensation as you rotate. If you do, just try to stay shy of that range of motion, and it might be a good opportunity, a good chance for you to talk to your healthcare provider about that, because there shouldn't be any of those sensations as you go through this rotation. We're going to do one more here, and then we're going to switch it up. Next, we're going to go into what I call rainbows. So we're going to take the hand. I call them rainbow because I tell my clients to imagine that they're tracing a rainbow as they take their arm up and over their head and get to the opposite side of the rainbow. From here, to close the hands back together again. And we'll go again. Trace up and over. Reach for the wall that's behind you, and then close the hands here. So here, as you go overhead, we're still trying to keep our knee connected to the foam roller, and you don't have to stay connected to the floor the whole time. Think about reaching that arm long out of the waist, and then use the core to bring the arms back together. The hip bones still stay stacked, my belly still stays in. I'm engaging through my inner thigh here to try to keep that foam roller from moving. We've done about 4 so far, and you can cycle through this anywhere between 6 to 8 times. Listen to your body, listen to your back, see what feels good for you. And then you guys are going to repeat the same thing on the other side. I'll try to save you guys time from watching the video, but if you want to, you can always rewind this to hear the instructions again. We're going to do this one more time and then come up to a seated position. Remember, the setup would be you're gonna flip over take your opposite ear to your pillow, to your yoga block, whatever you're using as that cushion for your head, and then take your top leg on top of the foam roller. If you want to hear the instructions, then go ahead and just press that rewind button and I'll guide you guys through it. But like I mentioned partway through the video, all of these shoulder mobility exercises, spinal mobility exercises, they're to encourage more movement through your body, to engage more blood flow, to engage more connection from that mind-body proprioception connection and activation, but you want it to be pain-free. No zinging, sharpness, pinching, or anything like that. And that's also what I advise, what I take into consideration for myself, my own body, and what I advise my clients as well. If you have any questions about those exercises, go ahead and drop them down in the comments below and give it a thumbs up. If you are coming out and up and out of those exercises and feeling super good and mobile through your upper back, so I've been doing this a couple times a day and it's been really, really helping with some of that stiffness that I've been feeling from my car accident that I was in. If you like this video, like I mentioned, give it a thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button and ring the bell if this type of content is your jam. I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great day.